exciting and new. Climb on stage, he's expecting you. The Let's Show, soon we'll be having another run. The Let's Show promises something, and that thing's fun.
Now, Peter, that Lance looks quite familiar. Is he your alter ego?
Yes, it's totally my alter ego. It's someone who just desperately wants to be liked and will go to any extreme to be liked.
Now, tell me, what if people can come and see you? What will they experience at the Late with Lance?
That's a great question. I mean, it's different every night. You know, the joke of the show is that I'm going to have Liza Minnelli and Hugh Jackman be my special guests. Lance is really convinced that they will actually come to his show because he's been tweeting them for the past 6 months, 16 times a day. And when they don't show, he has to, you know, the show must go on. So he manages to find somebody in the audience every night who doesn't sit like this and gets up there and interviews them first with the questions that he had planned for the celebrities and then eventually questions just about the real person.
So when you've brought these people up, have you ever had any unusual experiences with them?
Yeah, I mean, there's the people who just answer in one word, you know.
Yeah. Not great guests, those.
Not great.
Thank
you
you for
probably
not
had
doing
that as well.
We've experienced it once or twice.
Now I see it from the other side. Yeah, you have that. In Edinburgh especially, even though my show was at 2:30 in the afternoon, people had quite a few cocktails before they came. I mean, I had a few hen-dos, as you call it. Those people are very interesting because they really talk more than they should. And of course, that's when I'm telling their friends, like, get out your camera and make sure you tweet about this and mostly show it to them afterwards so they can see how crazy they were. But Lance, the character of Lance is so... doesn't really see things. I mean, he goes through life with blinders on, I guess. So he's unable to see that those people are either mocking him or completely making fools of themselves. He just enjoys everything that they say. So they wind up feeling like they did a great jobb. You know, total strangers are applauding for them when they finish.
And he lives in bliss.
He does live in bliss, absolutely, yes, he does.
Now, you've obviously been up at the Edinburgh Festival this year. You've been up there before. Tell me your experiences up there over the years.
Well, the first year I went with Desperately Seeking the Exit, and that was interesting because here I was at the largest arts festival in the world, pretty much doing a behind-the-scenes story about how this huge musical that involved Debbie Harry and Blondie and a little bit of Madonna crashed and burned. And so, like, the industry was very interested in, you know, in some sick way, like hearing about all these stories. So people were coming out of nowhere to see the show and then, you know, wanting to talk to me about it and stuff, wanting more. I mean, it's incredibly grueling. You know, even if you're just doing an hour or show a day, you're actually doing so much more. You're networking and you're marketing and you're flyering complete strangers. Yeah. And God bless the people of Edinburgh because they managed to put up with us all shoving flyers, free comedy, free comedy, free comedy in their face all day long. You know, the most interesting things, I mean, I never thought someone would say, like, you should turn this into a book, here's my card. You know, you don't expect that. You don't expect to run into people that you knew from show business 10 years ago because the whole world is there. And mostly just to get inspired, really. I mean, I did the show 2 years in a row. And then I thought, well, I have to do something else. What am I going to do? And I thought I'd never do anything that was sort of well-received as Desperately Seeking the Exit. And so I took the year off, and last summer just wrote down, I used hundreds of Post-it notes and wrote down hundreds of ideas, and then finally put them all on the wall and went, oh, I think this is what the show is. And people sort of know me in Edinburgh as Peter Michael Marino, not as Lance. So it did catch some people by surprise that I was playing somebody else, you know. And I think some of the audiences who came to Desperately came back and were very entertained to see me not talking about a horrible experience, but instead playing a character who rises above, which is, I guess, kind of what I do.
You're playing at a slightly smaller venue, perhaps, to your previous experience on the West End. How do you think the two will compare?
Well, you can see the audience's faces a lot better in the 60-seat room than a 1,200-seat theater. I mean, for Desperately Seeking Susan the musical, I was just the writer, sitting up in the balcony watching the audience, you know, either totally loving it or completely falling asleep during it. So I was totally as an observer. But whenever I do Lance, or even when I did Exit, it's very important to me that, like, the audience is lit. I have to see the audience, otherwise I don't know why I'm doing the show. There's no fourth wall.
That's very interesting, and they must enjoy more from being lit, from being more part of the show.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I often catch people in the back row making motions like this, and I go, I know that you're texting your friend right now about where you're meeting for dinner, and 9 times out of 10 they say, no, actually I'm on Twitter just saying I enjoyed the show. Keep doing that then. Everyone get your phones out, you know? That's the great thing about Edinburgh too, is it just allows you this tremendous freedom because everyone knows that they're coming to see sort of edgy, different, outside the box kind of work. So you can, you know, during Exit I threw spontaneous Madonna birthday parties in the middle of the show, throwing out cake and cookies to the audience. I couldn't really do that if it was, you know, in a proper West End theater, or not that it would ever be, but you know what I'm saying? It just gives you great freedom to do whatever you want.
Are you ever worried that Liza and Hugh might actually show up?
Worried? It's all I dream about. I'm praying that they'll show up. I mean, when I'm trying to flyer the audience, you know, I'm flying her outside and go, please come see my show. You know, Liza Minnelli and Hugh Jackman are going to be here. And they go, no, they're not. And I go, no, seriously, Hugh Jackman, he'll go to the opening of A Bag of Crisps. I mean, he'll come. He really will. He loves the attention. This is the hugest arts festival in the world. And then they kind of go, oh, that American's sort of funny. We'll throw him a few quid. We'll go.
Sounds great. Fingers crossed. I'm going to be tweeting them now, trying to get them down to your show. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope that someday @real Hugh Jackman actually does respond and just say, stop bothering me. I live in Australia. I'm making Wolverine movies. I'm never going to be on your show.
The restraining order is as good as a
Now that would get me some press. I'd take it.
Always got to have a dream.
I'm going to make you my guest on the show, and then you don't show up.
I'd love to, yeah. Like, I can't, constantly. I'm always late to places. Peter Michael Marino, thank you so much for coming on. Now tell people, where can they see the show if they want to come and check out Late with Lance?
It's playing at the adorable Arts Theatre in the West End, right off of Leicester Square. It's on Monday night at 7:30.